Hey there everyone. So I wanted to showcase a new idea that I came up with that I think would be really interesting for doubles games in Smash. So it's an interesting concept, it's about tag teaming. And so the whole idea for this came together based off of professional wrestling. So unlike a regular doubles game where it's a little bit chaotic and you've got 2v2 happening the entire match, this one operates under the tag team mentality here, which essentially means that you've got two people in the ring from two opposite teams. So let's say you've got red team and blue team. You've got one member of red and one member of blue inside of the actual ring. And then you've got the other teammate on the outside in the red corner and the other one in the blue corner on the right side. So I'm going to show this to you by actually opening up the stage here. And what you can see is essentially this here would be the ring, and this is the center. You'll be playing with 2v2, so for example, let's say that I'm blue team and Mario's in red team. My teammate in blue team will be over here, and he'll just have to wait here, right? And then I will obviously come on in to the ring. Mario being in red team, he can go on in and his teammate will wait here. So the way this will work is essentially the two who are inside of here will continue to fight. If at any point one member of either team feels like they're losing a little bit too hard or they can't handle the matchup, or it's just, you know, the momentum is shifting too far in their opponent's favor, what they can do is they can try to get out and go back into their side. And the moment they come in here, they can tag their opponent, which is their teammate, which is just by coming on in, and their teammate will then hop on in and come back in to continue the fight. By doing this, you're essentially tagging one another, and you've got that nice team dynamic going on. Obviously, if you're here and you're fighting your opponent, and you know, he's juggling you and you can't seem to get to your side of the stage, or you can't get back into your area, then your teammate is not allowed to help. He cannot come out, he cannot do anything. He's required to wait for you and trust in you to be able to somehow get over there. There are ways to circumvent this. You can actually get up there from up here, which is another way to get through, and so that's at least a little bit of leeway for you to be able to get around. And obviously you will die if you go up to the top, and we do have some lava up here to stop people from trying to get up to this top area. So again, those are general ways that you can do it. People in the ring will generally be aiming to kill each other in either of two ways. Either number one, they want to kill them off the top, or the second way is that they want to get them over to the other side, which can either be from up, you know, this area here or the other. And by getting over to this area, you can actually kill people off the side or off the bottom. This is actually all the way down, so it gives you the opportunity to do what you need to do. Keep in mind you can't grab ledges up in this area. The game is going to be played with 2 stocks and 10 minutes, 2 stocks each. And as described, because it's in such a small ring and you've got these 2 walls here, interactions become extremely dynamic. It's very chaotic, there's a lot of fighting going on in here, and it's very difficult for somebody to camp. However, one of the benefits as well is that if your teammate is a character that benefits from something like charging limit, or trying to get Arsene to come out or something, their option is always to swap with their teammate, come over here and do their own thing, and when they feel like they're fully charged, they can actually come on in. If you feel like that's a little bit too overpowered, you don't really have to worry too much about that, because of course you and your teammate can strategize around that with your own tagging system. And obviously when that person comes on in here, you just have to prevent them from being able to leave. And you can do that with just general play. What you'll see as well is that different characters will benefit quite a lot from an area like this, especially because of all the walls and the fact that you can do basically anything you want. And also interactions become a lot more interesting because of things like this. So you can see, for example, with the ball, we now have a lot of different ways to play with it. And it's not just a Wii Fit thing, this will benefit a lot of different characters, and I can show that by changing to anyone, honestly. If you have a good awareness of where the wall is and how to actually use the wall, even without a wall jump, you can get really creative with your combos. Whoop. I do not. I cannot hit him in this area. This is actually something I wanted to note as well. What you can actually do is you can push an opponent to the other side. I cannot push him. And then from here, your teammate can handle him. So really, one thing that you can do is if you can get your opponent to your side, okay, aside from them actually going and switching over to another area, if your opponent, you're in blue team, and your red team opponent gets knocked into the blue area, either from the top or the way I just knocked him through, your teammate can actually beat him up in here. And so that means that now this can become a 2v1 situation where you and your teammate can come into this area to fight off the red team member, and his teammate, who's on the right side, will not be able to come help you because each side has to always have at least one member from that side. So the blue team corner must have at least one blue team member, the red team corner has to have at least one red team member, and in the middle it kind of is arbitrary. It could either be 2, 1, etc. It doesn't matter because people will be switching. So that's essentially one thing you want to do. You either get to kill them off the top, or you want to try to get them to get into your corner so that you can have a 2v1 situation against them. And so that's where you guys can strategize. And down here you have the general play, where again, obviously you've got ledges, you've got edge guarding, ledge trapping, but obviously it's going to be a lot more in favor of the team whose side we're on. So that's one thing to keep in mind. One last thing is, if you feel like it's really difficult to get through here, or you don't feel like you're very good at timing your attacks, especially with something like a down air where you can't get underneath, if you're just standing here on the carpet, what you can do is you can just tap down and you'll immediately be on the ground underneath the carpet. Then from there you can just run. And that's one thing you can do. So if you're in a fight here and you manage to want to get out, just hit the ground and then run out. It's really simple, it's really straightforward, and if you use the right character, certain characters have a little bit more advantages, or a few more advantages compared to others. Mario, for example, can actually roll through, because he's got a low roll. Weath the Trainer, for example, can actually crawl underneath. I think the Belmonts can slide underneath. With any luck, maybe Pichu could run under. I doubt Pichu could run underneath it, but it's an idea. And so yeah, essentially this is what the stages are going to be like, and it's going to add an interesting team dynamic. So I'd love to see people try this out. It would be nice for different circumstances and situations. If you're wondering how high the ceiling actually is, I believe that if Mario gets something to like 121, you could probably get near killing him. I don't think this will kill him. Nope. So yeah, it's going to take quite a bit of time to actually kill someone, but nevertheless, it does do what it needs to do. Alright, so that about summarizes it. I hope you all enjoy.